Have you ever considered that the very things that trouble you, your fears, your doubts, those persistent self-criticisms, might not be roadblocks but rather signposts, guiding you toward your most authentic self? What if the answers to who you are and the reasons you are here are concealed within those aspects of your personality you most often try to push away, hide, or pretend don't exist? We are about to explore one of the most profound concepts from psychology and philosophy, Carl Jung's theory of the shadow. These are not merely abstract notions. They hold transformative truths that can reshape your life. By the end of this exploration, you may not only grasp the nature of your shadow, but also discover how it contains the secret to your unique potential and liberation. The unseen self. What is the shadow? Carl Jung, a pioneering figure in depth psychology, introduced the idea of the shadow as the unconscious segment of our personality. It's home to all the traits, desires, and facets of ourselves that we deem unacceptable, perhaps even shameful, and therefore reject or deny. The fascinating paradox here is that within this very shadow often lie the dormant seeds of our greatest strengths and the blueprint for a deeply fulfilling existence. Consider how frequently we sidestep certain thoughts or actions simply because they stir discomfort. Or how often do we find ourselves judging others for characteristics that, if we are truly honest, we faintly recognize within ourselves. Jung himself noted, everything that annoys us in others can lead to understanding ourselves. If someone consistently elicits a potent reaction from you, it's highly probable they've brushed against your shadow. More than darkness, the shadow's untapped potential. The shadow isn't solely about negativity, it's about unrealized potential. It represents energy we've buried, often out of fear or shame. Reflect on your own life. Are there parts of yourself you conceal from the world, or even from your own conscious awareness? This might be a lurking fear of failure, a hidden well of anger, or a pang of envy. Perhaps it's a deep-seated passion or a desire you've dismissed as impractical or somehow wrong. What if these aspects are not flaws to be eradicated, but messages clamoring for your attention? Jung proposed that by courageously confronting our shadow, we can integrate it into our conscious personality. This leads to a vital process he termed individuation, the development of a complete, unified self. This path isn't always easy. It demands bravery, profound honesty, and a readiness to venture into the unfamiliar territories of our inner landscape. Yet, the rewards are immense. Jung depicted individuation as a progression toward the true self, not the polished facade we present to society, but our genuine personality, encompassing both our light and our shadow. Think of the heroes in myths and stories. Each one had to face their inner darkness. Hercules, for instance, battled not just external beasts, but also his own consuming rage. Luke Skywalker confronted his own potential for darkness to become a Jedi. These narratives mirror our own psychological developments. Listening to the echoes, how the shadow communicates. Are you prepared to take that initial step, to gaze upon those parts of yourself you've been avoiding and ask, what are you trying to teach me? Jung taught that the shadow isn't an adversary but a guide. It communicates with us through our dreams, our deepest fears, and even through the dynamics of our relationships. Have you ever had a recurring dream that puzzled you, or felt an inexplicable pull towards a certain idea or person? These could be signals from your shadow, attempting to reach you. The process of working with your shadow begins with simple awareness. Start to notice your emotions and reactions, especially those that seem disproportionately strong or out of place. These are valuable clues pointing to hidden facets of your personality. The subsequent step is acceptance. This doesn't imply indulging every whim or negative impulse. Rather, it means acknowledging these parts of yourself without judgment, seeking to understand their origin and their role in your life. Imagine the liberation of ceasing to fear your perceived flaws and instead viewing them as instruments for growth. How much more authentic and confident could your life become if you embraced yourself completely? The shadow in daily life, reactions and projections. Let's delve into how this mysterious shadow shows up in our habits, relationships, and particularly in our reactions. Have you ever had an emotional outburst and later wondered, why did I react so intensely? Those moments when emotions seem to overwhelm rational thought often reveal the shadow at play. Jung believed that the shadow's power is rooted in its unconscious nature. The more we deny or suppress a part of ourselves, the more influence it gains over us. It's akin to attempting to hold a beach ball underwater. The harder you push it down, the more forcefully it will eventually surge to the surface. However, if you allow this hidden part to emerge, to be seen and understood, your life can become significantly freer. Jung contended that we often project these rejected parts of ourselves onto others, which then amplifies our reactions to them. For example, if you secretly grapple with feelings of inadequacy, you might find yourself harshly criticizing overly confident individuals or feeling intense envy towards those who succeed in areas where you feel deficient. This isn't merely a psychological oddity. It's the world acting as a mirror, reflecting our disowned parts back at us. As Jung stated, knowing your own darkness is the best way to deal with the darknesses of other people. Is there someone in your life who consistently provokes strong emotions in you? Instead of fixating on their actions, try asking yourself, what does this powerful reaction tell me about myself? What hidden aspect of me might I be projecting onto this person? This isn't an exercise in self-criticism, but a pathway to profound self-knowledge. Every projection is an opportunity to reclaim a disowned piece of yourself and bring it into the light of consciousness. The shadow and your unique path, uncovering hidden gifts. Remarkably, the shadow is often intimately connected to our destiny. The very parts of our personality that we work so hard to suppress can be closely linked to our unique gifts and deepest passions. For instance, an individual who stifles their innate creativity due to a fear of failure might discover that embracing this very side of themselves leads directly to their life's most meaningful work. Jung believed that one's destiny isn't something externally imposed, but an internal discovery, an alignment with the authentic self, which necessarily includes both light and shadow. He wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." How does one begin this profound exploration? Start by asking yourself questions that challenge your current self-perception. What do I fear most about myself? What traits have I been told or told myself are unacceptable in me? What dreams or passions have I dismissed as unrealistic or unworthy? Writing down your answers and reflecting on them can be incredibly revealing. It's astonishing what can surface when you consciously give your shadow a voice. Journaling is another potent tool. Jung himself kept detailed journals as he explored his own unconscious. He often advised his patients to record their dreams, viewing them as a direct conduit to the unconscious mind. In dreams, the shadow frequently appears in symbolic form, as a particular person, an animal, or a recurring event. Pay close attention to these recurring themes or symbols and ponder the message your unconscious might be trying to send. Integration, weaving darkness into a masterpiece. Imagine an artist who refuses to use dark colors in their paintings. Their work might be beautiful, but it would inevitably lack depth and contrast. When we accept and begin to integrate our shadow, we become like an artist who utilizes the entire palette, both light and darkness, to create a rich, nuanced masterpiece. Integration doesn't mean capitulating to destructive impulses. Rather, it means understanding and accepting these aspects as part of our shared humanity. This very acceptance often gives rise to a deeper compassion, both for ourselves and for others. You begin to see that everyone carries shadows, and this shared experience is a profound connector. Working with the shadow is not a one-time fix, but an ongoing, lifelong process. It calls for patience, consistent courage, and a genuine desire for growth. But the rewards are truly substantial: a clearer sense of purpose, a deeper inner peace, and the ability to live a genuinely authentic life. Jung also believed that this individual process of individuation has a ripple effect, influencing the collective unconscious, the shared psychic field of human experience. By transforming yourself, you can, in subtle ways, inspire transformation in others. Living with wholeness, honesty, and dialogue. How can these ideas be applied to everyday existence? A crucial starting point is radical self-honesty. This involves looking at yourself without filters, justifications, or excuses. Honesty in this context isn't about judgment, but about clear-eyed awareness. Picture cleaning a cluttered room. Until you acknowledge the extent of the mess, you cannot begin to effectively organize the space. The same holds true for your inner world and your shadow. You cannot integrate it until you first acknowledge its presence. A practical way to cultivate this awareness is to track your emotional triggers. When you feel a particularly strong reaction, be it anger, fear, intense irritation, or even excessive admiration, pause and ask yourself, why am I reacting so strongly? What does this situation or this person truly touch within me? Is it possible I am projecting a disowned part of myself onto this person or event? For instance, if someone's overt self-confidence grates on you, it might be linked to your own insecurities or a suppressed desire for recognition. This can be uncomfortable to face, but the objective is not self-reproach, but deeper understanding. The next phase can involve entering into a kind of dialogue with your shadow. Jung sometimes suggested treating the shadow as if it were a distinct entity with its own perspective. This might sound unusual, but it's a powerful technique for understanding these hidden parts. Imagine sitting down with your shadow and asking it questions. Why do you feel this way? What are you trying to protect me from? What do you need to feel heard and acknowledged? This dialogue can unfold through journaling, quiet meditation, or active imagination. The aim is to create a space where your shadow feels seen and understood, recognizing that it is not an enemy, but a part of you attempting to protect or guide you, albeit sometimes in misguided ways. This process can lead to astonishing discoveries. You might realize that a fear you've carried for years is rooted in a long-forgotten childhood experience, or that a trait you've suppressed is actually a strength waiting to be harnessed. The shadow in relationships and creative expression. The shadow doesn't just color your inner world, it profoundly impacts your relationships. Unresolved aspects of the shadow often manifest as recurring conflicts or persistent tensions with others. Have you noticed patterns of difficulty in your connections? These could be clues to underlying shadow dynamics. Jung viewed relationships as powerful mirrors that reflect our unconscious selves back to us. When someone hurts or triggers you, they are often, unknowingly, embodying a trait or dynamic that resonates deeply with your own shadow. By recognizing this, you can transform conflict into an opportunity for growth. Instead of solely blaming the other person, you can ask, what is this situation teaching me about myself? This not only deepens self-awareness, but also fosters greater empathy and compassion. Accepting and working with the shadow can also unlock tremendous creativity and a clearer sense of purpose. The shadow is not just a repository of negative traits, it's also a wellspring of untapped potential. The energy you previously expended on suppressing your shadow can be redirected and channeled into creative pursuits or constructive action. For example, suppressed anger, once understood and integrated, can become a powerful motivating force for advocating for justice. A hidden desire for attention, when brought into consciousness, might fuel compelling artistic expression or effective public speaking. Integrating your shadow effectively liberates bound-up energy, allowing you to pursue your true passions with greater vitality. Consider many great artists, thinkers, and leaders. Their most impactful work often reflects a deep engagement with their own shadow material. Frida Kahlo's paintings are raw with emotion, offering an unflinchingly honest portrayal of her pain and identity. Martin Luther King Jr. channeled his righteous anger at injustice into a movement that reshaped a nation. Jung saw creative expression as a natural path toward individuation. When we engage in art, writing, music, or even innovative problem-solving, we tap into the vast resources of the unconscious, including the shadow. What about your own life? Are there passions or projects you've shelved because they seem too risky, too unconventional, or too revealing? What if these are, in fact, vital expressions of your truest self, waiting for the courage of integration? The gift of darkness made conscious. As you move through this process, you may notice a profound shift. Traits that once seemed frightening or shameful can begin to transform into sources of unexpected strength and wisdom. You may find yourself living more authentically, with a newfound confidence and a clear, internally derived sense of purpose. The gift of darkness made conscious. As you move through this process, you may notice a profound shift. Traits that once seemed frightening or shameful can begin to transform into sources of unexpected strength and wisdom. You may find yourself living more authentically, with a newfound confidence and a clear, internally derived sense of purpose. And here lies a crucial insight. The shadow is not a curse to be overcome, but a gift to be unwrapped. It holds the key to your authenticity, your deepest creativity, and your unique purpose. Jung powerfully emphasized that wholeness is achieved not by striving for an imaginary perfection through denying parts of yourself, but by courageously integrating them. He famously said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." This is the very essence of shadow work. It's not about denying the darkness within, but about understanding it, accepting it, and ultimately harnessing its energy for growth and completeness. How does one make the darkness conscious? A significant part of it is through vulnerability, by openly and honestly acknowledging your fears, your flaws, and your less-than-perfect parts. In doing so, you strip them of their secret power. Vulnerability is not weakness, it is a profound strength. It is the willingness to say, "This is who I am in my entirety, and that is enough." Think about your relationships. How often do we wear masks, showing only the aspects of ourselves we believe will be readily accepted? This creates an invisible barrier. By accepting your own shadow, you grant yourself permission to be real. And that authenticity is magnetic. It attracts genuine connection, inspires trust, and allows for truly deep bonds to form. Accepting your shadow also cultivates a profound inner peace, which in turn influences how you navigate life's inevitable challenges and opportunities. You become a more whole, resilient person. Purpose, from this perspective, is not some external goal to be chased, but an internal alignment that emerges naturally. It is the unique tapestry woven from your strengths, your passions, and even your struggles, which collectively determine how you can best contribute to the world. The shadow is an indispensable part of that intricate formula. For example, someone who has grappled intensely with feelings of worthlessness may find their deepest purpose in helping others recognize their own value. Someone who has contended with a fiery temper may channel that same powerful energy into passionately fighting for justice. The most profound discovery in this endeavor is that integrating your shadow transforms not only you, but also enriches humanity. Jung believed that by confronting your own darkness, you become a more compassionate and understanding human being. You come to realize that your struggles, your insecurities, and your hidden shames are part of the common human experience, linking you to others rather than isolating you. Imagine a world where more individuals embrace their shadows instead of projecting their fears and unresolved issues onto others. Conflicts might diminish, understanding could flourish, and humanity as a whole might move a little closer to a collective sense of enlightenment. I encourage you to look within, not just at the parts of yourself that fill you with pride, but also, and perhaps especially, at what you have kept hidden in the shadows. Ask yourself, what is my shadow trying to teach me? How can I use its lessons to live a more authentic and purposeful life? What small, courageous step can I take today to begin this exploration? This is a lifelong undertaking, but every single step brings you closer to becoming the person you are truly meant to be: deep, purposeful, and wonderfully whole.